Welcome back. So we are going to do our video 1 today. And before we start, let me tell you what this video about. This video is about HTML basics, which is I'm going to teach you enough information that will be enough for building your first web page, simple web page, just as video 0. So, as always, I will use CodePen.io for the whole series, but you can use your local editor if you want. Here are some recommendations, some apps, code editor apps. For example, Sublime Text, Notepad++. This is for Windows only. Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code, and Komodo Edit 11. Or if you want, you can use your own computer text editor apps such as TextEdit for Mac. When you're saving, just change the file format to index.html. Let me show you what that worked out on Komodo Edit 11. So here's my tab. Okay, here's my new tab. And I'm gonna create a new file. And as you can see, the extension here is .txt, which is stand for text. What I'm gonna do is, oh, damn it. Okay. So, we're gonna save this file. And as you can see on the save screen, it asks me, is this save as? So I'm gonna save on my desktop. I'm gonna say index.html. And as you can see, the color changes, and there's an image at the left hand side. There's some code image, some icon, and change to index.html. And you can see the tags are now have their own color, which is yes, this is a successful HTML file. That's how you're supposed to do on Mac. Okay, but we're using CodePen.io since that way of you guys can also access online about what we will do. So, today, we'll learn how to build your first web page. I'm not going to teach actually how to build your web page, but teach your tags. Okay, so let me also introduce a little bit to CodePen.io. This is just basically have 3 sections. It's especially good for web development. It's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and the result. But in this series of tutorial, we're only going to use HTML and CSS only. So I paste the code in. Alright, so we will go through all of them today on how on the basic layout and some common tags. So first of all, let's understand what are each tags doing in this basic layout. It just tells the browser that I'm rendering a HTML tag, a document type that is HTML. This just stands for document type, and this is HTML format. And this just how your browser start rendering as HTML. That's the beginning of our HTML file. And in head, we will have following information put in. There will be a meta tag, okay, but in the CodePen.io, these are auto configured for you, and you can also add HTML language if you want. You can also add JavaScript, actual script, if you want, or you can also actually add your own CSS code. Oh, sorry, I need add style in front of them. That means they're going to render as a style. Okay, so that's basically what Head will storing. Oh yeah, and one more thing, Head will also storing the title of this web page. As you can see, they have web page such as this W3 schools. This title is HTML basic. This is video 1, and this is my drive. So each of them has a different name, and that's rendered at the top of each tab, which is you can decide them by using title. However, since I'm using codebin.io, it's at default configuration. I can change anything. Good. So now, what we'll do next is we're going to introduce you to body tag. What body tag do, it will actually storing information that will display on the web page. As you can see, that would actually show. If I type title, just say my first web page, you can see nothing actually show, okay, on the actual web page. So that is the basic layout of our HTML and CSS document, HTML document, I mean. But technically, if you are using codebin.io, it doesn't need all of the information. In fact, it doesn't even need body tag, just straight tab in your tag. But for the good practice, we are just going to use it configuration, basic layout. Alright, so now we learned the standard layout. Now we're going to learn some other tags. First tag we'll learn, actually it's first 6 tag we'll learn, it's called header tag. What these tag did, as you can see, later I'm gonna display it, type some text. They are all header text. This is the largest header. Okay? And this is the second large header. This is somewhat medium large header. This is somewhat medium small header. This is second small. I just used my own English word. Header. And this is the smallest header. Okay. So, as you can see, there are 6 tags, each H1 to H6. Each one of them has different purpose. H1 is the largest, H6 is the smallest. You'll learn different purpose. You're gonna use them, and yep, that's pretty much of the header tag. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this on. Okay. So what I will do is I'm gonna make a quick comment. I didn't decide to teach you comment, but this is going to description of header tags. I didn't decide to teach you how to do comment yet, but as you can see, kind of very simple to do. Where you just basically put a left opening, this symbol, exclamation mark, 2 dashes, and type your stuff, type your string or something like that. And don't forget to closing it using 2 dash and this symbol. That's why you create some comment. Comment will not usually render by browser. the reason we use comma is for human readable. Okay, human readability. And so next, we're going to introduce you to paragraph. Paragraph. So this is a paragraph. Well, you may say something like, "Hey, why paragraph is even larger than like H5 and H6?" To tell the truth, I don't know. That's the HTML designer design it. Okay, each of them has different purpose. So I'm gonna make a comment. This is going to be paragraph tag. Okay, good. So now we're going to introduce link to a website. So here is how we're gonna start this. We're gonna type following code href and equal sign to parenthesis to quotation mark. And what we will do is we'll, for example, I'm gonna type this in. This is just my this CodePen address, and then you're gonna closing it. And you're gonna name what should you say? For example, I'm gonna say click this link if you want to see my first web page. Okay, good. So and do not forget of these backslash, because if you forget and then if I keep typing stuff, so like if I keep typing, it will just continue to be the stuff that will be linked. Okay. So don't forget this, and you can also move it. For example, you just want to stop at the link. You can also do that. Oh, where's my 8 go? See, click this link if you want to see my first web page. Good. Now we're gonna learn another thing that's called image. So I'm gonna find. Okay. So we will use this tag to show the image on our web page. You're gonna use img space src equal sign to quotation mark. And it's quite similar as how do you add a link to the website, and you're gonna paste them in. Okay, this just my profile, but there's and don't forget to add this symbol. But there's one thing I want you to notice is I want you to also write out, which stands for alternative. For example, if there's a screen reader, the screen reader cannot read the image for you. Instead, it will read alt text if needed. It is not required, but it's highly recommended. And if for any reason that this image cannot be correctly loaded, this will be shown on the web page at the image position. So I'm just gonna say my CodePen profile photo. Okay. So link to a website, and this is link to show an image on web page. Good. Next, we are gonna learn some somewhat advanced feature. What if you want to create a form? I'm not actually going to form yet. What we'll do in this in here is show a button on the web page. Just a simple button. And it's really straightforward. You just use button / button. So you can type stuff in, for example, click me. Okay. Oh yeah. By the way, image source, as you can see, it doesn't have a closing tag. The reason is image doesn't have to be closed. Okay, it doesn't need to be closed since we all knew it's just an image and gonna stick here. You can also change the position if you want by change the code, but you can also add CSS properties to change this. But I'm not gonna go over that in this tutorial. Okay, so we're also show a button on this web page, but there's a problem with this web page and also this image. I want image to change the line. I don't want to show the same line as here, this paragraph or this sentence. So what should I do? Well, you can use what we call a BR code. Alright, I'm gonna add to sentence. What this did, as you can see, it moved to the next line. It's also kept break. Okay, it's called line break. So good. BR is for line break. Gonna write a comment right here called line break. Good. And now, finally, we are going to do some list. For example, you have a list of things you want to display, such as how many animal do you have? Like what is? Let's say this. You want to display your schedule at school, or your morning routine, something like that. You will use what we call a number list or order list. You use a order list to complete the item you're using to complete them. So what will be inside of the OL or order list? Well, there will be a line item inside of the order list. So you're just going to type my first. I'm gonna type my schedule since I'm still a student. I'm going to say English. I don't need to type this since it's a order list. Automatically show, and then math, and then science. Okay, that's an example. But what if I did this? As you can see, I accidentally delete the backslash and the slash, and now it's giving me one more item. Why? Because it automatically think that this ally start with new item, new line item, but instead I didn't mean to do that, and it's also going to cause some error. So make sure you have the slash after line item. And yeah, one more thing. And that's how you display your class schedule or morning routine. What if you just want to display animal, like all your pets? How did you do that? Well, you're not going to use a order list. They're like equally the same way. So like they're like, I can't say like number 1 is my puppy, number 2 is my rabbit. Well, I can also use more comfortably. It's called a unordered list. What that did is obviously it's going to create a bullet list. I'm going to create a bullet list we're going to use line item again, but this time, as you can see, I'm gonna write puppy. And I'm gonna say rabbit and tiger. Or I'm just kidding. I actually don't have any single pet, and especially tiger. Okay, so just an example. What am I doing? And I'm gonna comment them out so you know what am I doing here. So numbered list. Unwatered list. Well, obviously, when you know program a little bit deeper, when you know HTML a little bit deeper, you don't have to comment every single thing out. Especially when doing JavaScript, you can't. You can't because there's just so much stuff you need to do. So we often comment them out for important stuff and credit. So that's basically it for our today's tutorial on how to HTML basic. And now just use your imagination to create your own web page. And for next week, next time, what we'll do is we're going to start to dig more deeper into HTML. So the next episode is going to be HTML Basic 2. Okay, I'm not a good title name, but well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoy.